The boy put a pencil in the doorway before he left home. When he came home that day, he found the quill had fallen on the floor. He realized that someone must have been here. As expected, the police installed a surveillance camera in his house because they suspected the boy was a serial killer. It turns out that not long ago, Mike found a black notebook on the side of the road. The strange thing is that even the rain is avoiding it. Driven by curiosity, Mike brought the notebook home. It was labeled, "Whoever writes his name will die." He thought it was a prank. It was a news bulletin on the TV. There's a murderer who's never been caught. Mike watched it and thought about it. He took a stab at it. He wrote the murderer's name in his notebook. The next day, the newspaper reported the murderer's death. Mike realized it could all be true. He took the notebook to a hoodlum. He wrote his name directly on it, and 30 seconds later, the hoodlum dropped dead on the spot. Mike couldn't believe his eyes. He was so scared. He went to his house. An ugly monster appeared out of nowhere. He came right up to Mike and claimed to be the Grim Reaper, the owner of the notebook. Only those who touch the notebook can see themselves. But Mike was not afraid, but rather excited. The Grim Reaper then said, "If you don't want it, you can give it to someone else." Mike grew up with a dream of becoming a hero. Now that he has this magical notebook, he wouldn't give it away so easily. Then he wrote down many names in the notebook. These people were all guilty of the most serious crimes. Some of them were rich men who escaped justice. There were also prisoners whose sentences were too lenient. 10 people died in just a few days. The police found no clues, but they suspect it's all the same person. The internet thinks Mike is the embodiment of justice. They even named him their savior, and that gave Mike even more motivation, because his father is the police chief. He got the names of criminals from his father's computer and wrote their names in a notebook. This led to more deaths. The police couldn't stand it any longer, so they brought in a detective to help with the investigation and shouted at the murderer through the live broadcast, "Will be brought to justice." But Mike did not panic. He wrote down the name of the detective in his notebook. Soon the sleuth was dead, but before he could rejoice, another voice came from the TV. It turned out that this was the real detective. The anchor was just a death row inmate. Mike realized that this opponent was not simple. He wanted to find out the identity of the detective, but he realized he was being followed.